All right. Whew. Let's get another one in. Bible NWT AV51. So let's back up. 51 chapter. So Job chapter 15 to 23. I'm going to turn the. Oh, that is on. Change the focus a little bit. I don't know if that's changing the focus on your end, but it's changing my screen brightness. So I don't know. I guess it probably wouldn't, but I'm just turning it down so that way it's not so intense, and that way I can kind of focus my eyes a little bit more. So 15 to, what did I say, 23? Yep. Job 15. And I'm going to keep the fan and stuff off. Get the noise out. All right. Job 15. Eliphaz the Temanite said in reply, will a wise person answer with empty arguments, or will he fill his belly with the east wind? Reproving with mere words is useless, and talk alone is of no benefit. For you undermine the fear of God, and you diminish any concern for God. For your error dictates what you say, and you chose crafty speech. Your own mouth condemns you, not I. Your own lips testify against you. Were you the first man ever born? Or was your birth before that of the hills? Wow, that's crazy. Do you listen to the confidential talk of God, or do you limit wisdom to yourself? What do you know that we do not know? What do you understand that we do not? Both the gray-haired and the aged are among us, men much older than your father. Are God's consolations not enough for you, or words spoken gently to you? Why does your heart carry you away, and why do your eyes flash with anger? For you turn your spirit against God himself, and you allow such words to go out of your own mouth. What is mortal man that he should be pure, or anyone born of woman that he should be righteous? Look, he has no faith in his holy ones, and even the heavens are not pure in his eyes. And how much less so when a person is detestable and corrupt? A man who drinks an unrighteousness just like water, I will inform you, listen to me, I will relate what I have seen. What wise men have related from their fathers, things that they have not hidden. To them alone the land was given, and no stranger passed among them. A wicked person suffers torment all his days, throughout all the years reserved for the tyrant. Terrifying sounds are in his ears, and in a time of peace marauders attack him. He does not believe that he will escape from darkness. He is reserved for a sword. He wanders about in search for food. Where is it? He well knows that the day of darkness is at hand. Distress and anguish keep terrifying him. They overpower him like a king ready to launch an attack. For he raised his hand against God himself and tries to defy the Almighty. He stubbornly rushes against him with his thick, strong shield. His face is covered with fat, and his hips bulge with fat. He resides in cities that will be brought to ruin, and houses where no one will dwell, which will become heaps of stones. He will not grow rich in his wealth, and will not accumulate, nor his possessions spread over the land. He will not escape from darkness. A flame will dry up his twig, and he will pass away by a blast of God's mouth. He should not go astray and trust in what is worthless, for what he gets in exchange will be worthless. It will happen before this day, and his branches will never flourish, and he will be like a vine that shakes off its unripe grapes, and like an olive tree that casts off its blossoms. For the assembly of godless ones is sterile, and fire will consume the tents of bribery. They conceive trouble and give birth to what is wicked, and their womb produces deceit. Job 16. Job said and replied, I have heard many things like these before. All of you are troublesome comforters. Hold on a sec. Okay. Turn that back off. All of you are troublesome comforters. Is there an end to empty words? What provokes you to answer this way? I could also speak as you do. If you were in my place, I could make persuasive speeches against you and shake my head at you. Instead, though, I would strengthen you with the words of my mouth, and the consolation of my lips would bring relief. If I speak, my own pain is not relieved. If I stop speaking, how much is my pain reduced? But now he has made me wary. He has devastated my whole household. You also seize me, and it has become a witness, so that my own skinniness rises up and testifies to my face. His anger has torn me to pieces, and he harbors animosity against me. He grinds his teeth against me. My adversary pierces me with his eyes. They have opened their mouth wide against me, and they have scornfully struck my cheeks. In large numbers they gather against me. God hands me over to young boys, and he thrusts me into the hand of the wicked. I was untroubled, but he shattered me. He grabbed me by the back of the neck and crushed me, and he set me up as his target. His archers surrounded me. He pierces my kidneys. He feels no compassion. He pours out my gall on the earth. He breaks through against me with breach after breach. He rushes at me like a warrior. I have sewn sackcloth together to cover my skin, and I have buried my dignity in the dust. My face is red from weeping, and on my eyelids is deep shadow. Although my hands have done no violence, and my prayer is pure, O earth, do not cover my blood, and let there be no resting place for my outcry. Even now, my witness is in the heavens. The one who can testify for me is in the heights. My companions ridicule me as my eyes shed tears to God. Let someone arbitrate between a man and God, as one would between a man and his fellow, for the years to come are few, and I will go away on the path of no return. Job 17. My spirit has been broken, my days have been extinguished, the graveyard awaits me. Mockers surround me, and my eye must gaze at the rebellious behavior. Please accept my security and keep it with you. Who else will shake hands with me and pledge in my behalf? For you have concealed discernment from their heart. That is why you do not exalt them. He may offer to share with his friends, while the eyes of his children fail. He has made me an object of scorn among the peoples, so that I become one in whose face they spit. From anguish my eyes grow dim, and all my limbs are but a shadow. Upright people stare in amazement at this, and the innocent one is disturbed over the godless. The righteous one keeps holding fast to his way, and the one with clean hands grows stronger. However, you may all come and resume your arguing, for I have not found anyone wise among you. My days are finished. My plans, the desires of my heart, have been shattered. They keep turning night into day, saying, the light must be near because it is dark. If I wait, the grave will become my home. I will spread out my bed in darkness. I will call out to the pit, you are my father, to the maggot, my hope, my mother, and my sister. Where then is my hope? Who can see hope for me? It will go down to the barred gates of the grave when we all descend together into the dust. Job 18. Bildad, the Shuhite, said in reply, how long before you stop making such speeches? Before some understanding so that we may then speak, why should we be viewed as animals and be considered stupid in your eyes? Even if you tear yourself to pieces in your anger, will the earth be abandoned for your sake, or will the rock move away from its place? Yes, the light of the wicked will be extinguished, and the flame of his fire will not shine. The light in his tent will certainly grow dark, and the lamp over him will be extinguished. His vigorous stride is shortened, and his own counsel will make him fall. For his feet will lead him into a net, and he will wander onto its mesh. A trap will seize him by the heel, a snare will catch him. A rope is hidden for him on the ground, and a trap lies on his path. Terrors frighten him on all sides and chase him at his feet. His strength fails him, and disaster will make him stagger. His skin is eaten away. The most deadly disease consumes his limbs. He is torn away from the security of his tent and marched to the king of terrors. Strangers will live in his tent. Sulfur will be scattered on his home. His roots will dry up beneath him, and his branches will wither above him. The memory of him will fade from the earth, and in the street his name will be unknown. And he will be driven from the light into the darkness, and chased away from the productive land. He will have no offspring and no descendants among his peoples, and he will be without a survivor in the place where he lives. When his day comes, the people in the west will be appalled, and the people in the east will be seized with horror. This is what happens to the tents of a wrongdoer, and to the place of the one who does not know God. Job 19. Job said in reply, "How long will you keep irritating my soul, crushing me with words? These 10 times you have rebuked me. You are not ashamed to deal harshly with me, and if indeed I made a mistake, my error remains with me. If you insist on exalting yourselves over me, claiming that the reproach against me is justified, know then that it is God who has misled me, and he has caught me in his hunting net. Look, I keep crying out, violence, but I get no answer. I keep crying for help, but there is no justice. My path he has blocked with a stone wall, and I cannot pass by. He has covered my roadways with darkness. He has stripped me of my glory and removed the crown from my head. He breaks me down on all sides until I perish. My hope he uproots like a tree. His anger burns against me, and he views me as his enemy. His troops come together and besiege me, and they camp around my tent. My own brothers, he has driven me far away from me. And those who know me have turned away from me. My close companions are gone, and those whom I knew well have forgotten me. Guests in my house and my slave girls consider me a stranger. I am a foreigner in their eyes. I call for my servant, but he does not respond with my mouth. I beg him for compassion. My very breath has become loathsome to my wife, and I am a stench to my own brothers. Even young children despise me. When I rise up, they begin jeering at me. All my close friends detest me, and those whom I loved have turned against me. My bones stick to my skin and my flesh, and I escape with the skin of my teeth. Show me mercy, my companions. Show me mercy, for God's own hand has touched me. Why do you keep persecuting me as God does, attacking me without let up? If only my words were written down, if only they could be inscribed in a book. Oh, that they were carved forever in the rock with an iron stylus and lead. For I well know that my Redeemer is alive. He will come later and rise up over the earth after my skin has thus been destroyed. While yet in my flesh, I will see God, whom I will see for myself, whom my own eyes will see, not someone else's, but deeply inside I feel overwhelmed. For you say, in what way are we persecuting him? Since the root of the problem is with me, be in fear of the sword yourselves, for the sword brings punishment against errors. You should know that there is a judge. Job 20. Zophar, the Naamathite, said in reply, "This is why my own troubling thoughts urge me to answer, because of the agitation I feel. I have heard a reproof that insults me, and my understanding impels me to reply. Surely you must have always known this, for it has been since man was put on the earth, that the joyful cry of the wicked is brief, and the rejoicing of the godless one is for a moment. Although his greatness ascends to heaven, and his head reaches to the clouds, he will perish forever, like his own dung. Those who used to see him will say, 'Where is he?' He will fly off like a dream, and they will not find him. He will be chased away like a vision of the night. The eye that once saw him will not do so again, and his place will behold him no more. His own children will seek the favor of the poor, and his own hands will give back his wealth. His bones were full of youthful vigor, but it will lie down with him in mere dust. If what is bad tastes sweet in his mouth, if he hides it under his tongue, if he savors it and does not let it go, but keeps holding it in his mouth, his food will turn sour inside him. It will become like the poison of cobras within him. He has swallowed down wealth, but he will vomit it up. God will empty it out of his belly. The venom of cobras he will suck. The fangs of a viper will kill him. He will never see the streams of water, the torrents of honey and butter. He will give back his goods without consuming them. He will not enjoy the wealth from his trade, for he has crushed and abandoned the poor, and he has seized a house that he did not build. But he will feel no peace within himself. His wealth will not help him escape. There is nothing left for him to devour. That is why his prosperity will not last. When his wealth reaches its peak, anxiety will overtake him. The full force of misfortune will come against him as he fills his belly. God will send his burning anger upon him, raining it down upon him into his bowels. When he flees from weapons of iron, arrows from copper, a copper bow will pierce him. He pulls an arrow from his back, a glittering weapon from his gall, and terror seizes him. Total darkness awaits his treasures. A fire that no one fanned will consume him. Calamity awaits any survivor in his tent. Heaven will uncover his error. The earth will rise up against him. A flood will sweep his house away. It will be heavy torrent on the day of God's anger. This is the wicked man's share from God, the inheritance that God has decreed for him. Job 21. Job said in reply, "Listen carefully to what I say. Let this be the consolation you give me." Oh, one sec, water break. Dang it. All right, let this be the consolation you give me. Bear with me while I speak. After I speak, you may then mock me. Is my complaint directed toward a man? If it were, would I not lose patience? Look at me and stare in amazement. Put your hand over your mouth. When I think about it, I am disturbed, and my whole body shudders. Why do the wicked live on, grow old, and become wealthy? Their children are always in their presence, and they get to see their descendants. Their houses are secure, they are free from fear, and God does not punish them with his rod. Their bulls breed without failure, their cows give birth and do not miscarry. Their boys run outside just like a flock, and their children skip about. They sing accompanied by tambourine and harp and rejoice at the sound of the flute. They spend their days in contentment and go down peacefully to the grave. But they say to the true God, "Leave us alone. We have no desire to know your ways. Who is the Almighty that we should serve him? What should we gain, or what would we gain by being acquainted with him?" But I know that they do not control their own prosperity. The thinking of the wicked is far from me. How often is the lamp of the wicked extinguished? How often does disaster come upon them? How often does God deal out destruction to them in his anger? Do they ever become like straw before the wind, and like chaff that a storm wind carries away? God will store up a man's punishment for his own sons, but may God repay him so that he will know it. May his own eyes see his ruin, and may he be the one to drink from the rage of the Almighty. For what does he care about what happens to his house after him if the number of his months is cut short? Can anyone teach knowledge to God? When he is the one who judges even the highest ones, one man dies in his full vigor. When when he's completely carefree and at ease, when his thighs are padded with fat and his bones are strong. But another man dies deeply distressed, never having tasted good things. Together they will lie down in the dust, and maggots will cover both of them. Look, I know exactly what you are thinking, and the schemes you devise to wrong me. For you say, "Where is the house of the prominent man, and where is the tent in which the wicked one lived?" Have you not questioned travelers? Do you not carefully study their observations? That an evil person is spared on the day of disaster and rescued on the day of fury? Who will confront him about his way, and who will repay him for what he has done? When he is carried to the graveyard, a vigil will be kept over his tomb. The clods of earth in the valley will be sweet to him, and all mankind follows after him, like the countless number before him. So why offer me meaningless comfort? There is nothing but deceit in your answers. Job 22. How far am I going? 23. Eliphaz the Temanite said in reply, "Can a man be of use to God? Can anyone with insight be a benefit to him? Does the Almighty care that you are righteous? Or does he gain anything because you follow the course of integrity? He will punish you and enter into judgment with you for your reverence. Is it not because your own wickedness is so great and there is no end for your errors? For you seize a pledge from your brothers for no reason, and you strip people of their garments, leaving them naked. You do not give the tired one a drink of water, and you hold back food from the hungry. The land belongs to the powerful man, and the favored one dwells in it. But you sent away widows empty handed, and you crush the arms of fatherless children. That is why you are surrounded by traps, and sudden terrors frighten you. That is why it is so dark that you cannot see, and a flood of water covers you. Is it not in the heights of heaven? And see how high all the stars are. But you have said, what does God really know? Can he judge through thick gloom? Clouds screen him off so that he does not see as he walks about on the vault of heaven. Will you follow the ancient path that wicked men have walked? Who have been snatched away before their time, whose foundation was washed away by a flood? They were saying to the true God, leave us alone, and what can the Almighty do to us? Yet he is the one who filled their houses with good things. Such wicked thinking is far from my own. The righteous one, or the righteous will see this and rejoice, and the innocent will mock them and say, our opponents have been destroyed, and a fire will consume what is left of them. Get to know him, and you will be at peace. Then good things will come your way. Accept the law from his mouth, and keep his sayings in your heart. If you return to the Almighty, you will be restored. If you remove unrighteousness from your tent, if you would throw your gold into the dust and the gold of Ophir into the rocky ravines, then the Almighty will become your gold, and he will be your choicest silver. For then your delight will be in the Almighty, and you will lift them up. You will lift up your face to God. You will entreat him, and he will hear you, and your vows you will pay. Whatever you decide to do will succeed, and light will shine upon your path. For you will be humiliated when you speak arrogantly, and he will save the humble. He will rescue those who are innocent. So if your hands are clean, you will certainly be rescued. Ouch. Ouch. Job 23. Job said in reply, even today I will complain stubbornly. My strength is exhausted because of my sighing. If only I knew where to find God, I would go to his place of dwelling. I would present my case before him and fill my mouth with arguments. I would learn how he would answer me and take note of what he says to me. Would he contend with me using his great power? No, surely he would give me a hearing. There the upright one could set matters straight with him, and I would be acquitted once and for all by my judge. But if I go east, he is not there, and I return, I cannot find him. When he is working on the left, I cannot look upon him. Then he turns to the right, but I still do not see him. But he knows the path I have taken. After he has tested me, I will come out as pure gold. My feet have closely followed his footsteps. I have kept to his way without deviating. I have not departed from the commandment of his lips. I have treasured his sayings, even more than what was required of me. When he is determined, who can resist him? When he wants to do something, he does it. For he will carry out completely what has been determined for me, and he has many things, such things in store. That is why I am anxious because of him. When I think about him, my fear grows. God has made me faint-hearted, and the Almighty has made me afraid. But I have not yet been silenced by the darkness, nor by the gloom that has covered my face. All right, and that is the end of. Man, that was quick. Feels like that was quick. End of AV51.